punishment for homosexuality?
Absolutely.
One relative actually had the audacity to tell me that it was a gay disease and that I was an abomination to the body of Christ, that I should have never been born, and that I'm a disgrace to the family.
Yeah. The social stigma behind HIV is so prevalent in our community. People are afraid to come out and say I'm HIV positive.
Do you think that the community would rather sit back and watch people die at an increasingly alarming rate, rather than talk about it?
It has been my experience that that's what's going on. Even though I'm living a gay lifestyle now, I was married for 16 years and had infected my wife, and she felt like she couldn't go to her family to tell them. So 16 years, my wife just went through this denial and shame, and she didn't want to take her medication, and she passed away last year. So
I'm dating right now. I gave her HIV. And I feel really bad about it, and I think that we're wrong, but I didn't tell her till a year later. And that's the sad part about it. And when she accepts it, she
doesn't have much choice, does she? If there are any number of black men on the down low having sex with men and getting infected and having sex with women and not telling them they've had sex with men, a lot of black women have been infected unknowingly.
Are you suggesting that the group of us are going out intentionally infecting people?
Yeah. Well, I think in the case of Kevin, he knew his sexuality and he didn't tell his fiancée.
Again, who do we go to say I'm having these feelings? I can recall talking to a group of women and asking them if their men or their husband actually came to them and said, I sleep with other men, how would they feel about that? And a lot of them said they didn't want to know.
And do you think your experience coming out as a gay person is a common experience?
I think a great majority live more of a down low life. It is expected from the community, from the family, from the church that men, black men particularly, you marry, have families, have children, live happily ever after.
You blame men?
I absolutely blame men because the new infections for women are overwhelmingly as a result of heterosexual transmissions, let's face it.
A few months after Peter's discussion with the men, we gathered a group of women to talk about many of the same issues.
We trust and love our men deeply, and they are not being honest. They've embraced the lifestyle called the down low, which allows them to say, oh, I'm not gay, I'm just kicking it with my boys, which allows them to still be a man over here and be with their boys over here, and we're spreading it like wildfire. Another log on the fire, another log on the flyer, but sisters have got to know that we have got to protect ourselves at all costs.
But is there discomfort talking about HIV/AIDS in the black community?
I mean, for us to sit down and just have a circle like this, it just does not happen. The women who are infected and the women who are affected have been silent.
And when you talk about African American, you talk about generations of abuse. And we're talking, going back, we were talking earlier about the secrets. You know, and it's not just a black people's secret, it was a slavery secret. Because you didn't tell when Master came and got somebody out of the house, or Master, and it wasn't just Master, it was the son, it was the sharecropper. You didn't tell, you know. So it's the same thing, we didn't tell. We live with these secrets and we haven't told.
I think for a lot of white people who may be listening, they're going to say, that was a long time ago. Do those patterns, do those forces still live and still shape the world?
The fact of the matter is that we still live in that culture, so we don't discuss that our sons have HIV, or our uncles or our brothers have HIV, or our daughters are infected.
Right,
how do you address these?
So there's a 20-year-old, say, and she's about to go out on a date. What does she need to know?
20 questions. Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? Have you ever had sex with a man? Because some men will say, no, I don't have a boyfriend, and say, no, that I'm not bisexual, but still they've had sex with me.
When you go out, is this anyone?
Oh, yeah. But I don't know that it's on every 24-year-old's mind.
Did you ask your boyfriend to get tested?
Yes. Let's do this.
How did he respond?
fine with it. Nothing I.
Apparently. She did that because she respects herself. And I guarantee you he respects her more.
And that brings us back to the bottom line. How do we reduce the numbers of HIV cases in the African American community?
We have to be a force to be reckoned with. However it has to happen, it has to happen.